Welcome back to Original Living in Asheville channel. This is elenakovrigin. This is Melinda, who is on our team at eXp Realty. And the reason I'm talking with Melinda today and I brought her to make this video for you is because we are covering Brevard, North Carolina. And Melinda, unlike me, lives and works in Brevard. I mean, we cover Brevard too, but Melinda lives here. So who would be a better source than somebody who lives and works here? And so in this video, we're gonna tell you everything you need to know about what it's like to live in Brevard, what you need to know when you move into Brevard, so that you can make an informed decision for yourself and your family.
Brevard is this lively small town with abundant cultural and natural resources. Visitors from around the world come for the music, the festivals, shops, waterfalls, trails, rivers, and quiet forest.
And so Brevard is that place, from my experience, is that, it's a place for those who are looking for maximum outdoor activities. If you're an outdoor lover, this is the right place for you, because not only there's an abundance of outdoors, but what does it mean? Well, first of all, it's surrounded by Pisgah National Forest. It's right next door. It's at the entrance of Pisgah National Forest, which is it's a huge forest, but it's right here.
And up to the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Blue Ridge Mountains, then
DuPont State Forest.
That's a huge attraction, not only for visitors, but locals. I mean, we come to DuPont all the way from Asheville. I mean, Asheville has a lot of outdoors, but what Asheville does not have and what Brevard has is a ton of
waterfalls.
One of the reasons for that is because Transylvania County in general and Brevard in particular is located in basically rainforest.
So the weather in Brevard is it's very mild. We don't have harsh winters any longer. Last winter we had a few dustings of snow. Nothing as far as deep snow or that much precipitation.
But in summer you do have a lot more rain, or quite a bit more rain than Asheville does.
But mostly, like today it's in the 70s and the breeze is blowing. So that's kind of our mild climate that throughout the year it's going to be like that.
And all this rain, it allows Brevard and Transylvania County in general have all the waterfalls. So if you live in Asheville, you would have to drive all the way to Brevard or some other parts of Western North Carolina, but Brevard would be kind of the most convenient, I would think, just a straight shot. And you can enjoy a ton of,
there's over 250 waterfalls in Brevard alone.
And that's one statistic. I think I heard somebody say there's like thousands. Maybe they're counting smaller ones, but big ones, real waterfalls, over 200 waterfalls. So there's, an abundance of that. And of course, all the hiking trails. I don't think anybody can ever hike through all the trails that Pisgah National Forest or DuPont State Park has to offer, as well as mountain biking. And there's a huge cyclist community.
Yes, cyclist community. I was noticing down the sidewalk that they even have for the cyclists to repair their bikes while they're here on Main Street.
Really? Yeah. Wow, I don't think we have that in Asheville. Yeah, I've heard that, and I've heard from other people that is one of the reasons they relocated here, specifically to Brevard, because they have this huge cyclist community.
Yep, that's true. And trails, if you're a hiker, you're just going to be in heaven here. I consider it unlimited how much you have to do here if you're an outside.
And all year round, because though the climate is so mild, you're not going to be stuck at home in winter because it's so cold. It's not cold. It's just, bundle up a little bit sometimes on some days, but most of the days, winters are mild, summers are mild. It's just the climate is perfect for you to be outdoors all year round. Winter, spring, fall, summer, it's just,
We don't have blackouts. We don't have, you may have some electrical outages every now and then, but it's not like something you're going to deal with for days and weeks.
In terms of population, it's a pretty small southern town, 10,000 people. So typical small southern town. With that, it's not, super diverse. I'll let you look at this screenshot from the source, from the official source about demographics, and that will give you a pretty good idea demographic makeup of Brevard. So we all know that, or if you've been following me or been in Asheville, Asheville is not super diverse. And Brevard is kind of follows the suit. It's not super diverse demographically speaking, but it seems like just like in Asheville, there's a ton of people from all over the country, all kinds of people.
Yes, we get a lot of tourists, obviously, because of all the recreation that there is to do. But we also have people that are looking to retire here. We get them from all over the country. You know, I have someone now. Well, that's out west in California, but you know, they're looking to retire full time, and we get a lot of those people here. So it's good for the community, good for the county. We have good health care here, so lots of interest from people out of state to come here and stay.
Do you find a lot of people like snowbirds or halfbacks that we call them, you know, in Asheville? A lot of those people?
Yeah, they do. They come up from Florida a lot, and you know, most of them don't live right in town. They live up in the mountains, up towards Lake Toxaway and the other developments up that way.
Some like higher end communities, you mean?
Yes, higher end communities, and the elevation's about 1,000 feet higher than here, so it's pretty mountainous up there.
Yeah. What elevation is Brevard on? Do you know? 2,000. So Brevard is about Asheville elevation, so same elevation that Asheville has. But some communities that I'm actually gonna show you one of those communities in the next video, so stay tuned for that. It's about 3,200 above sea level, which is about 1,000 feet over than Brevard itself, like downtown or Asheville. So it's gonna be a little cooler. I mean, you will feel the difference. High elevation, you know, you can just keep your windows open in summer and you're gonna have a nice cool breeze all, you know, in summer mainly. So outside the fact that there's a huge opportunity for outdoors, great outdoors all year round, another aspect that is very attractive to a lot of people, tourists and people who want to relocate is its cultural aspect.
Yes, that's correct. We have arts and music is big in Brevard. Just about every restaurant, coffee shop up here in the evenings, every evening in the week, you can find music.
Don't you have a music festival or something like that?
It's a festival. We have, we have the Brevard Music Center, which is big. We also have Brevard College, which is a liberal arts college. And a lot of famous people that you may know have graduated there, and some of them still live there.
Really? Yes. Wow. Just like any other small town, Brevard has all its festivals here, including some music festivals.
They have the White Squirrel Festival.
That's the next one I'm yet to attend. But can you tell a little bit more about White Squirrel Festival? Why? What's up with white squirrels?
Brevard is one of the largest, well-known cities, Transylvania County, for having a population of white squirrels. There's actually a park in Brevard that you can go to where you will see the most white squirrels in one place.
I don't think you need to go to a park. You will
have. This morning I had 4 white squirrels in my backyard.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you live in Brevard or around Brevard, you'll
see white squirrels. It's a gene mutation, right? That's why they're white or something like that, from what I heard. But you know, they seem to migrate. I've seen a white squirrel in our neighborhood. It's been a while.
They have been going out for.
Yeah, and then I have a client who relocated to Hendersonville. They live in Hendersonville, and their neighborhood, they have a ton of white squirrels. And I was surprised because I thought that just white squirrels are local to Brevard, but no, they start migrating.
They used to be, but the White Squirrel Festival is every year. It's the weekend of Memorial Day, and people, just thousands and thousands of people come here.
So they close off Main Street, probably downtown.
It's wall-to-wall people and fun and activities. It's you know, if you're here around Memorial Day, you definitely need to check that out.
Yeah, so typical small town festival where they shut down downtown and the people, vendors all over the streets, and just, you know, you can sell or buy stuff, look at stuff, try stuff, and just get an idea and get a feel for the local community here in Brevard, North Carolina. When it comes to cost of living in Brevard versus other places in the country, in North Carolina, compared to Asheville, Brevard is actually, I mean, it's not the cheapest place to live.
It's about 2% higher than the national average. You know, most of that is due to medical care.
Well, and of course, the cost of real estate. When I looked up the stats right now, median sales price in Asheville is about the same as Brevard. It's about in the low 500s. And it's, of course, went up in the recent years. I'm sure the same as Asheville or same as any other place where especially people were relocating to because of, pandemic, whatever. The last 3-4 years were really kind of prices just skyrocketed everywhere. When it comes to living in Brevard, what are the choices people have, like to get a better idea? For example, when I talked about Hendersonville, it was a lot of traditional communities, gated communities, and just a lot of farms or standalone properties. What about Brevard? What do we have here?
Brevard's going to be the same. We have gated communities, we have ungated communities that are really can be high end and still, get that feel of the higher end communities without the gates. And if that's something you like. You can have farmland within 5 miles of Brevard. We have farmland, we have flat land, we have mountain communities where you can actually live in a little mountain community. It's just about any kind of living you want to do, you can do at Brevard. We have those communities.
Do you have 55 plus communities?
Yes, definitely. Yes. In fact, we have several of those in Brevard itself.
They're strictly 55 plus. Yes. They have restriction, okay. Because we don't really, we have a few in Asheville, but just a drop in the bucket, not a whole lot. It seems like, Henderson County, Hendersonville, Brevard is where it's at. Condos and townhomes?
Condos and townhomes, you're going to find most of those. We have a few inside the city limits in Brevard. Most of those are going to be in the higher elevations, like Toxaway, Sapphire. You can find condos, townhomes up there.
And they're probably part of a bigger community. So some of those communities, just like Hendersonville, when I talked about Hendersonville, they have single family homes and a section of townhomes or condos. So same here.
The one thing we're running short on is lots for people, land, just to build a house on. Some people are wanting just like an acre or less, and they're becoming hard to find because we have so many of those communities coming into Brevard.
Because guess what? They don't make more land. You can build more houses, but you need land, and they don't make more land. I'm sure, just like everywhere else in Western North Carolina, at first glance, you'll see like, oh, there's a ton of land. What is she talking about? When it's, what did I say? When it's cheap, it's steep, and you're probably not gonna wanna build on a piece of property that's like this. And if you think that you're getting a deal for like $10,000, $15,000 for an acre, think again. It's gonna cost you, you're gonna pay either way for that. In steep lots that are cheap, you're gonna pay a lot more to put a foundation in, to just grade before you even looking at cost per square foot from foundation up. I'm talking $200,000 probably for, 2,000 square foot house. Looks like a ton of inventory, but when you start really looking into it, it's just, it's a cliff. It's the side of the mountain, and that's not something that a lot of people want to deal with. You might have elbow room, but that's about it. There's no usable land.
There's some communities outside of Brevard, within a 15 or 20 minute drive around the area that, you can find some of those that still have a few lots available, but they're going fast.
Yeah.
Most of them are getting scooped up really quick.
So if you're thinking about coming, checking out Brevard, relocating to Brevard and wondering what are the top five communities in Brevard to look at, what are they?
I would say Conisty Falls.
And that's one of the more established community.
Yes, it's an older community, but they're still building up there, so
Yep.
It's expanding. You also have Lake Toxaway and Sapphire, which is up the mountain about 1,000. That's the one that's higher up than Brevard.
Which technically different towns.
Different towns.
Technically.
In town, in Brevard itself, you have Strauss Park, which is the newer community. Did we already talk about that?
You can buy a lot, spend a few $100,000 on a lot and build there, but it is going to be right here.
And then we have Glen Cannon, which is a golf community. They are an older community, but it's a beautiful area up there. Just absolutely gorgeous in it. And I'm not sure how many people live in there, but it's a really nice, laid-back, mountain type area. People love to live there. Those don't come up very often. And then Deer Park is another one. Deer Park is another new community, and it you know, it's priced. Its houses in there are gorgeous, but they're not terribly expensive. So they're around the medium.
500-600. Okay, that's not bad. Let's yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, it's still a lot of money compared to maybe national average or South Carolina that's right next door. But for this area, do you find, at least from my research, when I looked at some other communities, you know, lesser known maybe, or, you know, whatever the inventories we're at right now, it seems like a lot of communities have a lake. It's kind of like waterfalls. Yes. They're everywhere, so lakes are everywhere.
They are. There's most of the communities have lakes. They have at least small ponds. And all over Brevard, there's lakes you can fish.
Lake Toxaway is one of the
Toxaway is a huge lake. Yeah, you can live on the lake there.
Very clean.
On up past Lake Toxaway at a higher elevation, you got Glenville, which is, you know, beautiful Nantahala River and lakes up there. Down this way, you're going to have all of the main communities. You're going to have some small lake in them that you can fish in. We have the French Broad, which is awesome trout fishing waters. If you love to fish, this is where you need to come.
So, if you love outdoors, but you're really not sure about, you know, going hiking somewhere in national forest, if you live in one of those communities, you don't even have to go anywhere. You can be inside the community, go fishing, go hiking. A lot of these communities have a ton of trails. Intentional, right?
They make them intentional for those kind of people that are, you know, love that outdoor activity.
In my previous life, when I was going to school to be an X-ray tech in about 2008, 2009, I actually did my clinicals at Transylvania Hospital here in Brevard. So I know from my experience that there's a great, it used to be a great hospital right here in Brevard, in a small town like Brevard. Right now it's part of HSA. Unfortunately, the same big corporation or hospital that bought Mission Hospital back in Asheville, it's still here, and it's a great resource for those who live in Transylvania County. So it's a standalone, and they also have ER, right? Emergency room.
A lot of the doctor's offices are in that compound, so you're close to everything. And in fact, you can be in any of the communities around Brevard and still be 15 or 20 minutes to the hospital or a urgent care center. It's really close.
Yeah, and unlike, you know, Asheville, you know, which is a bigger city compared to Brevard, I know the mayor of Brevard is really fighting against all the BS that HSA is trying to bring into the medical system here in Western North Carolina. So even though they're part of HSA, I know the mayor, she's a really feisty lady. She's ex-military, right, I think?
Yes.
And so she will not let, at least she's trying not to, fighting back against the big corporation that trying to impose their rules here in the region. Okay, what about school choices? You know, Brevard, I know, and just from walking the streets, you can see that a lot of people here are just, you know, relocating to retire, to spend their retirement years. But there's also families. There's families with kids, there's families with younger children, and there are some school choices for them as well, right?
Brevard is a lovely town for children too, and we have a lot of families that live in Brevard. We have, Brevard College, of course, but we have the high school, Brevard High School, Rosman High School. So we have two separate high school systems, and also the elementary and middle school systems on both of them in Rosman and Brevard.
And of course, Brevard College, which is a liberal arts college right here in town. So those are your choices when it comes to education. Of course, there's going to be a lot more tight-knit community here of more like-minded people. And of course, we can talk on and on and on about what it's like to live here, give you stats, but the best thing to do if you're thinking about it, come check it out, come visit Brevard. And this time, maybe not with the head of a tourist, but with the head of a local, and see what it's like to live here, to go grocery shopping. Speaking of, what are there some good choices for groceries?
We have Ingles, the major market. It's downtown Brevard. And then we have Go Grocery. We have some smaller, I believe there's an IGA on the outer skirts of Brevard.
So like local?
They have very, yeah. And then there's all kinds of small vegetable stands, produce stands, those kind. They're here year round. They're not just in the summertime. there.
Yeah, well, like because there's a ton of farmers here as well, so access to farmers markets, little farmer stands. That's that's the perk of living in small town that relies on agricultural industry as well.
They have a farmers market that opens on the weekend at the end of the main street down here every weekend.
Awesome. Well, Melinda, thank you so much for sharing what it's like to live in Brevard and giving us a glimpse of what this beautiful town has to offer, what kind of amenities, things not just to do, but how to live, what living here might look like. If you have any questions to me or Melinda, drop them in the comments or reach out to me and my team via email or phone, or schedule a consultation via calendar link that's down in the description as well. And we will happy to walk you through the process of relocating to Brevard or any part of Western North Carolina. Stay tuned for the next video next week, where I'm gonna show you what it's like to live in one of those top communities that Melinda mentioned. Until then, bye.